Hello guys, how's it going? It's the CS student here again, and today we're gonna be doing the challenge called Orbital. Orbital is a pretty nice challenge, in my own opinion. It's, I would say, between easy and medium level because it takes a bit of knowledge and it's, I will say, a fun vulnerability to find eventually. However, it's not very common, at least not for me. I haven't had the chance to actually exploit this vulnerability many times, but it was pretty fun. So Orbital, it's a web challenge, as the other ones that I've been doing in other videos, and as you can see, it asks for a username and a password. They also give you the files so you can have a look, and we will indeed do that. So let's just open Visual Studio, let's open the files, and something that I like to do is check the entry point, and as you can see, there is like a lot of stuff over here, and I'm just going to close this part over here so you can see this is just creating three tables. One is creating the table Orbital, the database Orbital, and then it's creating the table users and the table communication. The user will have an ID, a username, and a password, and variable characters up to 255, right? This one has ID, source, destination, name, downloadable. And something that I want you guys to understand is that we cannot see the flag anywhere here. They insert the values, as you can see, admin and gempass. Gempass is a key part, by the way. I'll go for it later. And then they insert a lot of information over here, as you can see. All of them have about the same file, which it's pointless. It doesn't matter at the moment. And then it creates a user, also called user, identified by this guy, which I'm pretty sure is the guy that made the challenge. And then it grants only select on the user called user. So that means that the user can only do select queries, and that's it, no more. It cannot do like inserts or updates, and the challenge is not meant to do that way. However, let's go to gempass. Gempass is very important. Gempass is a function, and as you can see, it's a function that prints a dummy password. The dummy password will be then made into MD5, and actually I'll run it for you guys so you guys can see what I mean. And this little part is just to remove the characters afterwards. So I'm just gonna run this, and you can see this part. This is basically the password that's in here. Our task in this challenge, after I figure it out, obviously I'm telling you what we need to do, it's to retrieve the password from the admin, because there is no other way, at least not that I know. So let's go to the files, let's see what we can get, and you can see that it's a Python application. So let's go to main, let's see what we get. Let's format this for now. This is not. Let's find the routes. Database. Over here there is something that we need to check, and I will go into this very quick because that's the login. Blueprints routes. Okay, here. So we see the login, and you can see that the login is obviously a post request, and we need to make sure that it's a JSON, otherwise it will send a 400 status which says bad request, and otherwise it will follow and it will get the username, it will get the password from what we sent, and it will say if there is no username or there is no password, just say you need all the fields required, and send a status code 401, which means, I believe, was it forbidden? I can't remember the status, maybe for unauthorized, I think it was. Anyways, and then if you send all of this, then it will go to this function called login. Alright, so very similar to another challenge that we just did, which was called, I believe, Dropbots. So let's go to login function, and now here's where it gets very tricky. And then there is a text saying, a little bit ambiguous by the way in the English. I don't think it's not possible to bypass login because I'm verifying the password later. I think what it meant is like, I don't think it's possible to bypass login. Yeah, I think that's what it meant. But anyways, so then we get the query. Select username, password from users, where username equal to username. So in this case, we're not verifying the password. We're just getting the user, right? So basically what this is doing is that we're gonna go here. We're gonna say, let's just say admin, and any password, and here's gonna be replaced by admin over here, admin. And what this is gonna be doing is gonna get the admin's password and username from the database, from the database users, right? And what's gonna happen next? Then there is this one that says if there is a user, that means that if we actually get something from the database, like a valid user like admin, then it's gonna be true, right? And what's gonna happen is we're gonna try to verify the password with this function that we will check in a second, and it's gonna check the user password, and from here it's gonna send the password that we sent and the password that it got from the database. Let's just go back. Let's go to this function now. And as you can see, what it's doing is the first one is the hash password, which is the one from the database, and the second one is the one that we sent. What is it doing is encoding our password that we sent in plain text over here. Yep. And it's gonna make it MD5. And if these two match, if this password that we sent after it's been hashed matches the password that is in the database, then returns true. Otherwise, returns false. And this is a bit of a tricky challenge in the sense that you don't get the idea right away, especially if you don't have much experience in SQL injection and you're just trying to see what you can do. Also, if I remember properly, this challenge was like SQL Lite. I'm not 100% sure. However, let's jump into the action and let's see what's gonna happen. So this part is pretty much inputted by us, right? Like it's still us, it's still the user. So let's just go back, let's put this one, and let's just say I put the close quotes, right? So it's gonna be checking the username. And one thing that I wanted to try was like, okay, well, I run this on my own server, right? So, and also I already know the password, so that's good for us because that's gonna be beneficial. And what if I add like more stuff to the query? Like I can do it, right? Because this part is all inputted by me as well. And I can just try to see, you know what? I want to check if the password starts this way. Password equal, password like, actually. Why like? I'll tell you in a second. And then I open double quotes again. And then I just say, I know the password by now, but like, I'm just going to give an example, right? Like if I didn't know the password. And we know that all the password is being hashed, is in MD5 hash, like this one over here, right? So what if it starts with, let's just say 2, right? So let's imagine that the password in the database starts with 2. And I'm saying, okay, well, like, and then for those that know SQL, you will know that percentage just means like, it doesn't matter what's after the 2, just match that it starts with 2, and everything else can be whatever it is. It's like a prefix this, and then this is just everything else, doesn't matter. Just match anything that starts with 2, and that's it, right? So if I say this, then it's gonna try to match admin and password like, and a password that starts with 2, right? So let's say it starts with 2. So obviously we can see in this example, dummy password, yes, it starts with 2. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do, okay, start with 2, and we don't care about this because we don't know it yet. We're just testing one by one, right? And we do that, and then the only issue is like, okay, how are we gonna make sure that this is actually working? Because we don't know, like, that's just gonna immediately evaluate, and I can prove that to you guys, because let me just copy this part. If I go here and I open the inspection and I open here, I'll just put the username like this, and I'll just put any password, doesn't matter. So let me just make it smaller so I can log in. So I log in, and you see immediately I get like my error, right? Invalid credentials as well, right away. So that's not actually pretty good. And I can just copy some stuff that I have over here, and let me just quickly do this. And also I forgot something very important. This, let me just close it, and just these comments that you see is just to close everything after that, so it doesn't matter. And I can do it, and as you can see, it does take its time, but like it doesn't do much more. However, we get an error over here, and that's, I will say, kind of good for us. As you can see, this is MariaDB, which is a type of database which is very similar to MySQL, to be honest. So that's good for us. We're getting errors. We're not just getting like a formatted proper message, we're getting actually errors. So now what we need to do, like, okay, well, this is not really telling me if the password starts like that. So there is this function called sleep. Sleep is a pretty nice function, I will say, because it allows you to make the database sleep for n seconds, right? So I can do something like, okay, let's just say it starts with 2, and if it doesn't start with 2, then we're gonna make it sleep for 1 second. But in this case, let's just do 5 seconds because we need to be super sure that it's actually working. And let's just cut the query and like this. So this doesn't need to be evaluated anymore. And we're gonna copy our text, we're gonna send it, and I want you guys to realize how long it takes to get read. Alright, this one took nothing, like it got read like immediately, right? Like right away. So I'm gonna send this query, and I want you to realize it's black, and then suddenly it's gonna turn to red in 5 seconds after. So there you go. So that's good for us. Why is that good for us? Because even though it's sending us this invalid request, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It actually means it's just, the password that we started with, it's wrong, but the query is working for us. Now, I already know the hash of this password, so I'm just gonna make it easy for you for this time. I know that it starts with 1. So now, the logic behind this is that if it starts with 1, then it's gonna return immediately. But if it doesn't, it will take 5 seconds. It will sleep for 5 seconds. And I want you to realize this part. The next query that I make is gonna turn nothing. Like, it won't take time. So I'm gonna clean it so you can see. And as you can see, right away. And that's good for us. We call this kind of injection, if I remember properly, blind SQL injection. And I'm not 100% sure though, because I haven't done this much. But what we can do is we can make a script in order to get the password one by one. And so what we can do is we can basically do a script. We can make a Python script, right? We're gonna do that. And what's gonna be doing is he's gonna be sending requests one by one. And what's gonna happen is that he will try to sleep. Let's just not say 5 seconds, because 5 seconds is too long to wait. Let's just say 1 second. And we're gonna make a request, and every time that it makes a request, it will get the password one by one if the request doesn't take that long, and it will add it to the code. So let's start coding something, nbeam requester.py, let's just call it, and then import request, because we will need request, and then let's just say import the strings, if I remember properly, and then let's just say string, I think it is. Alright, and then potential equal to a string.digits plus a string.ascii lowercase, I think it was, and then print potential. Okay, so what I want you to understand is that these are just the numbers from 0 to 9, and these are all the letters in lowercase. Why lowercase only? If you remember, and I'll show you very quick, if you remember, if I echo anything like low, and then I put it into MD5 some, none of this has a uppercase, so it's pointless for us to check uppercase, right? So now, however, it has all the numbers and it has lowercase. And now I'm just gonna run requester.py, and it says strings is not defined. Of course, yes, because I did run the strings instead of that. So potential is not a string, it is a string. And there we go. And if I remember properly, and if everything's right, we can see that we have all the numbers first, and we have all the lowercase after. So perfect. Now we can do while len of, we need to make a word, by the way, we need to make our password hash pass equal to empty. While something that I want you to realize is that the length of these things, I'll run it really quick, the length of this, if you actually check it one by one, you will realize that it's 32 characters. All MD5 hashes have a length of 32, and I can prove that because I can do python 3-c print len of, oops, maybe not these quotes, yes, this, and just close it, and as you can see it has a length of 32. So we're gonna be matching until it's 32. While the length of hash pass is less than 32, at 32 it will stop. What I wanted to do is request.post. And what are we going to send? To which link? So let's just get the link from this one. Request.post, and then we have to do the request the same way that they do over here. Headers, let's just have a look. As you can see, it goes to the API login, right? So we need to do API login. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more of the code, and also set grab. Yep, that will do better. Login, and then JSON, because it has to be JSON, and I'm gonna call it payload for now. I need to define payload. Payload equals to username, and username we know is admin, it doesn't matter. But we need to add more stuff over here, obviously. Password, it doesn't matter. Yep, 1, 2, 3. Yep, okay, here. So the admin has to have our previous query. I hope you guys remember it, because it's and password like, and then start single quotes. Actually, let me use double quotes in here and change this one to single quotes. Password like, and then let's just say letter, which we will need to define very soon, and I'm gonna put it in curly braces because I want to use F strings. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Letter, percentage, and also don't forget to add word, because hash pass. Yes, yep, that should do. And then username is that. That's the payload. Missing white space after. Yes, don't get too angry. Letter is not defined. Yes, I know letter is not defined. And now for, sorry, I'm doing this coding in not the most orthodox way, by the way. For letter in potential, and then just gonna put all this inside. For letter in potential, then you're gonna change the payload. Payload's gonna be admin and password like hash pass, whatever we have at the very beginning or at the point we are, plan letter percentage, which will make it match anything after. And then request.post json.payload. And let me just assign a variable for this, like rec equal to that. And I'm just gonna make this a little bit smaller so we all can see properly. Payload like this, and then if rec.elapse time elapse total seconds is less than 1, then hash pass plus equal letter and break. And also I want to print it, obviously, because I want to see how the hash is looking. Hash pass. And why are we doing a break here? Because we don't want to go over the next one, right? Or like there's no point. Like we can just restart it. I mean, we might get lucky and find it, but it doesn't matter. So what I'm gonna do here is like if request takes less than a second, add letter. This is gonna be hopefully without any issues of internet, because if you get internet lag or some issues with the connection, you will obviously have to run hash. And request.elapse.total seconds less than 1, then hash append letter, print hash, and then break. And at the end, what I want to do is just print hash pass. And hopefully, if I did it all right, and then if I clear this and I run Python, entry requester, and we should ideally start to get some stuff, not like this. Give me a second, let me have a look. Why is it doing zeros all the time? Like admin and password like, of course. forgot the quotes here. Admin like hash password. Yes, yes. Yes. Like or sleep. I haven't added that part. Sorry, guys. Sleep. 1 second. Let's just say 2 seconds just in case. Dash dash. So it cuts the code. And am I right now? I hope so. Admin and password like whatever the hash, whatever the letter. Yes. Or sleep. Yeah, okay. Let's run again this thing. Hopefully we'll start to get some stuff. We'll see. So there you go. There it starts to work now properly, I hope. So now it will go one by one. It will take some time, so I'm gonna fast forward this video a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. Alright guys, so it's finally done. It took a while, and well, here's the hash. Here's the MD5 hash that we got from the password. And by the way, this solution is the intended solution. However, I saw someone did it in a different way. Very interesting though. Anyways, so now that we got this hash, let's just put it somewhere in a file called just hash. Echo this into hash. And what we're gonna do is we are going to first get out from here, and we're gonna use something called hashcat. And we know that it's a MD5. So if we want to check what kind of hash is MD5, we can see that MD5 is, where is the 0? There is the plain 0 somewhere. Let me find it for you guys. The 0 one, the mode 0 equals for hashcat and MD5. There are so many, by the way. Anyways, here you go, MD5 plain raw hash. So it's a 0 hash. It's the mode 0, right? So we're gonna do hashcat dash m, dash m, and that's gonna be 0 dash a. That's gonna be 0 as well. And then we are going to put the hash, and then we're gonna put the word list, which is gonna be rockq. Word list rockq. And if I am right, I think that's all you need. So as you can see, it already cracked it before, so I'm just gonna show it. And as you can see, here's the password. So we're gonna copy this password, we're gonna go back to the website, we're gonna do admin alone, and we're gonna do this. We're just gonna put the password, and if you think that's it, no, it's not it. So now we can see there are like a couple of things. You cannot really click on anything other than the logout button, but we don't want that. So we're gonna do that. And now it gets a little bit tricky, because there is this function called export. Export, what it does, it just sends you a file, a communication file, which I'm not gonna open, by the way. But anyways, so I want you to have a look at here on console resources network here, and I'm gonna click on export. You can see that the export has a request, a post request as well, and the payload is the communication. So Now let's go back to the code really quick and let's just find export. As you can see, there is this one that says export, and also another comment that says everyone is saying I should escape specific characters in the file name. I don't know why. The reason why, my friend, is because otherwise I can, traverse your file system. And then it says, okay, send file. Send file is just a function that will download the file, by the way, from Flask. So, and then it uses f strings, so formatting, right? And it gets a file from communication, and the communication name tends to be this one. So we're gonna copy this part over here, and we're gonna make simply a request call that post http what's the link again, here post, and then API export, because it has to be to the API export if I remember properly. Yes, and then close, and then -h content type application JSON, because it has to be a JSON, and then we can send the data, which is gonna be in single quotes, and then it's gonna be username. No, it's not gonna be username, it's gonna be name alone, and then the name I'll go in it in a second. And then one more thing that I need, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see. One more thing that I need is the cookie, because we already authorized, right? So we're already inside, so we need the session, and the session is here. Cookie session equal to all this, and then now let's just do communication.mp3 as they did, and then it says that they're sending us a binary, and that can mess up our terminal, so rather to use that. However, I don't want the communication one, I want the flag. And I don't know if you guys remember from the Docker file, they copied the file, I believe. Where is it? Where is the flag? Where is the flag? Here. They copy the flag to this directory. So let's get that one. They copy it as this name, and it's in the root directory. So let's just get this. However, if you go also back to the code again, you can see in here that it's in communications. So all we're doing is we're putting another / and pretty much this, we're putting this, and we don't need that because we're still in communications. So we need to go back like this, and that will get us to the root directory, but I'm just gonna do it one more time just in case. So we're gonna copy this, yep, and we're gonna paste it over here, and let's see if we get it. And as you can see, HTTP time-based SQLi are fun. Yes, there we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm just gonna submit the flag so you can also see that it's right, and Orbital, and this one. There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to give it a like, follow for more, and check the other videos as well. I'm gonna be showing more in different areas, not just web, also forensics, and also miscellaneous, I guess. Alright, see you guys until the next one.